Welcome to the What's Over Dick podcast. We fashion ourselves cinematic judge and jury. My name is JJ Crowder. I'm here with my co-host, Alec Burgess.
Let's get it.
We appreciate you tuning in. Go ahead and hit that follow, subscribe, like, bell notification buttons. Help us grow the podcast by telling a friend, tell a family member, tell some space marines about us. We always like those guys and gals. But yeah, we are in week 3 of James Cameron movies. And before we kick off what movie this is, if you're not on YouTube and see the screen, if you're just listening, which we appreciate, don't forget to go check us out on Patreon, where you can help decide what movies we watch. You can help us punish one of us that did not win for the month, or in this case, we tied. So you could punish either one of us.
Both of us.
Felt so, or both of us, if you felt so inclined. On Patreon, will cost you a few bucks, but straight up, whoever's just the tip list you pick from is going to be tortured. Yeah, so enjoy that. Go have fun. We have a lot of content there too for you to watch, and it's free to get involved in the voting and topics and all that fun stuff and the discussion. So please join up, have some fun with us. And then the last quick announcement is something new coming probably next month. A new, not necessarily sponsorship, but somewhere along those lines. So we'll be introducing you to a product and a company, and look for that. That'll start in March. So yeah, that'll be fun. And with that, we're doing Aliens. It was released July 18th, 1986. It was written and directed by none other than James Cameron. It stars Sigourney Weaver, Michael Biehn, Carrie Henn, Paul Reiser, Lance Henriksen, Bill Paxton, William Hope, Jeanette Goldstein, Mark Ralston, Al Matthews, and this is another one of these movies that, as is typical with James Cameron, I could just keep going and going. So I'm going to stop there. But decades after surviving the Nostromo incident, Ellen Ripley is sent out to reestablish contact with a terraforming colony, but finds herself battling the alien queen and her offspring. It'll work. This is my movie. So
This
I
is
get
your
to go
movie.
first. Finally, movie. A good movie that I don't have to be like, I can't believe I have to watch this shit. Yeah, I picked it. 2 reasons I picked this. One, when I think of James Cameron movies, there's like 4 movies that I think of, and only 3 of them I actually give a shit about and want to watch, and 2 of them are on this list. I guess there's 5 now because of fucking Avatar bullshit. But yeah, so I think of this one because this is another situation where, listen, Alien is one of my favorite movies of all time, the original. And I always get a little worried when they bring in someone new or a whole new team to do a sequel. But this one is arguably as good as the first. I don't think it's better because it's so different, but it's arguably as good from a different perspective of how to take these movies. And then the other one is, one of the other 2 is on the list that we're going to be doing next week. So, and then the last one that I always think of is Terminator. Both of them, I guess. But the first 2 I consider standalones from the rest of the hot garbage that's been put out since those 2.
That's
Huh?
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. So yeah, Aliens. This movie is such a wild, like, I don't know. Listen, we know it takes place in the same universe. It has a lot of the same people. Well, meaning it has Sigourney Weaver and Ripley and the aliens. But other than that, and I am sorry, I sound like shit. I mean, you're going to hear some nasty shit coming out of me. I'm sick. So I apologize in advance. So yeah, like, but it's so wildly different from the first, because the first one is just this like suspense horror, like edge of your seat, barely see the alien, but goddamn, when you do, it's so
Terrifying.
good. It's tight. It shots because you don't have to worry about seeing just terrible effects given the system. Well, this one, James Cameron picks up and is like, we're going to turn this into a full-on Terminator in space, basically. Like, it's an action movie, and we get everything that goes with it. What I love about it is that it's like this gritty action movie, and it's kind of like Avatar without the nice blue people. You know what I mean? You got the space suits, you got the big ass guns, you got the mechanical walking. Like, it's just dope, and it is a big transition from the styling. Like I said, it goes into more of like a sci-fi action, but man, it's got some great dialogue. It's got comedy, like in the lines that it's there, but it's still very intense. Like, there's still some serious moments. And then, there's the typical James Cameron plot MacGuffins where people make stupid decisions for good reasons or whatever. But like the whole Newt situation, and like, you can't help it. And then it leads to a cliffhanger that wasn't meant to ever be a cliffhanger, but this was supposed to be the end of the damn thing. But anyway, I just really like it because it's a unique, I think, movie in cinema history because of the way that it shifted genres from this movie and yet still found a way to be just as good as the first one, in my opinion, and taking that and being able to run with it. Now, after this, we get a little wonky and some sketchy, weird shit going on, and then we just go off the fucking rails completely down the road. But this was a very good sequel and very interesting and very different than I think anybody expected when they said they were doing a sequel to Alien. So that's why I picked it, because this is primo James Cameron to me, before his head got too big for his britches and he was still figuring out doing weird shit that Hollywood wasn't prepared for. And I really like what he did with this film. So that's why I picked it. What about you, man? I can't imagine that these are films that you're like,
no,
I want to watch Alien.
No, not even a little bit. And so this was the first time I'd seen this front to back in one sitting. Like, I'd seen the entire movie several times because it's a 40-year-old movie. It's been around for a long time. But I never sat down start to finish. I'd always catch the beginning where you got, they're looking for the colony, or I'd catch the end of it, or I'd catch a little bit in the middle, but I never sat down and watched it front to back. And so my first introduction to the Aliens universe was one that they did a handful of years ago, Prometheus. I think. Okay, yeah, that was the introduction to it, and that's a weird fucking one. And so I was like, huh? And then I can't watch Alien all the way through.
I bet,
because it's terrifying.
Yeah,
it is nasty and gross and disgusting. No, thank you.
Yes.
And so coming into this, I have an idea of it, right? But this is a movie that I can watch because, like you said, it doesn't necessarily fit into the previous theme. It's a sequel carry on. We have all the same components put together, or the same pieces in play, but it's not the suspenseful, scary, what's happening going on. In fact, it's sometimes it's even a little comedic when they start running like the basilisk that runs on water. Yeah. Like, yeah, it cracks me up. And then the other thing that I picked on this time around, I was like, oh, there's nothing anymore that's an original idea, which I already knew. But I was like, man, James Cameron had the Cybertruck 40 years before Elon Musk.
Yeah, it's great.
This thing rolls up. I'm like, dude, if Elon wanted to actually make the Cybertruck cool, he just make it like that.
Yeah.
That's the truck everybody wants. But that thing rolled up, and I was like, oh man, are you kidding me? But it was good for watching it for the first time, where like I understood a little bit about what happened. And the only part that really kind of throws me for a loop is and it's almost like a James Cameron thing that he puts it, is the bad guy who is trying to sneak an alien through quarantine, and this mission isn't actually as sanctioned as it's thought to be, and it's more of a personal thing for him. It's the thing that baffles me about it is that it's a James. That's why I think it's a James Cameron thing. Is that the point of it doesn't make sense, because you get into the actual colony, and there's a face hugger that's still alive in a little container. Just take that if you're so concerned about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the whole like, oh, I'm gonna sneak it past quarantine by having it inside Ripley and Newt, and then I'll just hatch it on the other side. I was like, dude, what? Because you can still do the entire plan your way. Just take the facehugger that's already contained.
Yeah.
And so, but that's a very almost James Cameron-esque type thing. And so, it's like, okay, yeah, I get where you're coming from, but at the same time, like, this bad guy's kind of lame. Like, he kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Just keep the aliens as the bad guys. They're much better at it.
For sure. I won't lie. I think that's one of my biggest issues with the Alien franchise, if you will, is that, like, the Otani Corporation or whatever, like, their whole thing the whole time is like, we want to capture these aliens and be able to reproduce them and use them. And I'm like, okay, hold on. Like, look, I get it. Maybe this time, right? And there's also, I mean, if you get into the whole world of Alien, there's some timeline issues. So not many people know exactly the whole fucking timeline of this whole thing. It's a little wonky, but I just look back and every time they try to fucking run a mission outside of the first one, which is just a happenstance, oops, right? But from then on, like, it's all about getting the alien genome or bringing the alien back a live specimen or something so that they can study it, recreate it, whatever. And I'm like, listen, I get it in a lot of cases. Like, there's going to be a lot of things where you're like, ooh, that would make us a lot of money. We'd be the military applications, whatever. This is not it. Like, there's a point where you're like, okay, fine. The Nostromo, it was a one-off thing. There were like 8 people on it. How are they going to defend themselves? It was a mining shit, like, whatever. But after this particular incident, and you get there and this entire colony is like
gone,
toast, except for Newt, who's able to hide in weird fucking places and get, you know what I mean? And then you send in a pack of Marines, and these guys are no joke. Like, I mean, listen, Bill Paxton in this movie is one of my favorite fucking characters of Bill Paxton's of all time. Like, I love Bill Paxton, rest his soul. But, like, man, these guys, and like Michael Biehn, like, I love this crew, right? And they get their fucking asses handed to them like it's nothing, and that's what the aliens do, right? That's the aliens in these movies are always just, other than Sigourney Weaver and Ripley, one step ahead, and they just fucking crush because they're just 4-legged wrecking balls, right? And yet we just keep, why? There has
this
to be
time it'll work.
Yeah, like, I think that's part of the problem I have with it just continually going on and on and on, is I'm like, guys, you have learned this is not a species to be fucked with. You're not, even if you were able to get or be smart and take a live facehugger or smuggle an alien out in these 2 human beings, what are you gonna do? All it's gonna happen is bye-bye Earth or bye-bye colonies, or because as soon as these sons of bitches start reproducing, and one of them is gonna wipe some motherfuckers out, let alone a whole pack of them. And the acid for blood, like, there's no practical application for these creatures, none, because you can't control them. I don't give a shit what you do. You're not controlling this kind of alien. These things have one purpose, and that is 2 pure purposes: eat and reproduce. That's it. Like, so I always am a little, that's the one thing. But for this one and the first one, it works, because the first one, this incident happens. The second one, they're like, wait a minute. But then after, and maybe fine, you could have like Aliens 3, right? Where it's, that one even fits in the timeline. It's not nearly, it's an inferior movie to these first 2, but it's not horrid. And it makes sense because that's the first time you get to see true wholesale slaughter in massive numbers besides like off-screen stuff. But I just like, it blows my mind that these people just keep trying. And I think that's one of my things. But other than that, like, I love this movie. It's got pretty much anything I could want from a mindless, entertaining perspective to, an action film turned slightly. And I think they could have ramped up the intensity, but when you change the venues and the amount of aliens you got, and then that the Marines, you're not on a ship with like an air pistol, basically. Like you're on you got equipment. You got to have more than one. So I really liked it. I think the acting for what it is and the effects. This is another thing James Cameron does, right? Like he took the one part that they had a hard time with in the original Alien movie is how do you make this thing look scary with a human inside of it, right? Like inside the costume. And the answer to that in the 70s was you don't. You keep it off screen and you just show bits and pieces and silhouettes and just the face or whatever. And because even the little one that pops out of the dude's chest, you're like, that looks a little goofy. But he took this one and he's like, oh no, we're gonna have some aliens and these motherfuckers are gonna look scary and move. And it, like you said, except when they're running across water, then. But yeah, so kudos James Cameron for upping the fucking crazy look volume, like for this movie from the first.
I'll say, so watching it, there was something that I was thinking of. I was like, I wish this would have happened because they almost lean into it. But again, this is an 80s action film. So it is very surface level, big guns, big explosions. That's what it was meant to be. That's what it was. That's where we're going.
Yeah.
But they set it up so nicely for this almost like secondary plot when they first send the Marines in, and it's like, oh, hey, guess what? You guys actually need to collect everybody's mags. You can only have fire, right? Like you can't actually use the weapons that you brought in. And then, you have a commander who is not experienced, right? It's like the second time or whatever he's running a landing, and he's only done simulations. Like he has no real meaningful combat experience. Like you have this potential for a complete setup from the beginning, and they don't lean into that as much as I would have liked to see, because then it kind of would make sense when you have your sponsor being this guy who's trying to get a specimen. It's like, oh yeah, by the time they figured out that it's a crack Marine squad, sure, but the commander's no experience. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
Now on top of that, here's another reason is we're going to send the Marines, who are going to be the biggest issue I have in getting this thing back to Earth. We're going to send them in without their full equipment. And you have the ability to connect these little dots and have it be this, I need Ripley because she knows what's going on. Mm-hmm. I need the Marines to get me one, but I need to make sure they don't survive while they're doing it. And I need a commander that's going to make it look like it was his fault, right? I need a fall guy.
Yeah.
And so that's why when I was watching, I was like, ooh, just a little connection. But that's watching it from, now we have a little bit more of when a movie has this plot than a secondary thing. When they were making this, they were like, we're making a sequel. It's going to be explosions and giant mechs and, that kind of stuff. And it's still enjoyable. But while I was watching, I was like, oh, this would have been so sweet if you just went there.
Yeah. Yeah. That whole underlying. Well, and I think that's the other problem, that they lean a lot more into the corporate espionage type shit later films. And you're right. Like, I think it would have made an even better subplot with this one. And especially like if they find out a little better or easy, you know what I mean? Like, or if it doesn't, I don't know, if it's not like just brushed over, then I think, yeah. So I think it's a good call out. Because
you need a reason to hamstring your Marines.
Yeah.
Right. But at the same time, the reason is,
acid.
Acid, or you're in a spot where you can't hit a tank or whatever because it all goes bluey. Most Marines would be like, well, why don't we just come back out and bluey the tank? Go home.
Yeah.
Like, problem solved.
Yeah. Well, we got to save the colony. No, you don't.
Yeah. No.
Rebuild that shit.
The colony's done.
Yeah. There's nothing to be salvaged, my friend.
Yeah.
And Ripley knows it.
Yeah. And I mean, the biggest red flag in this is when they see everybody bunched up and they're like, oh, let's go check out why they're all hanging out there.
Yeah.
Like, dude.
Well, and I think there's one line in this movie that like really like epitomizes the Marine crew. And that's where Ripley's like, did IQs just drop while I was away? I'm like, yeah, apparently they did. Which, I mean, adds another level to your, I mean, these are a crack Marine squad, but they're not the brightest on the fucking.
No.
You know what I mean? Bulbs in the box, which I suppose sometimes works out in the favor of what you're looking for there, but it also works out from a perspective of nobody's going to figure out your secret plot to fucking get anybody because they're just grunts, right? Like, but I love their banter, dude. Like,
it's so great.
Oh my god, it's so like when friggin'
Vasquez is my favorite.
Oh, she's amazing. Seriously. Well, like when Paxton's like, anybody ever mistake you for a man? Anybody do the same for you? It's just like
right off the cuff.
Yeah. She's the best, dude.
Had that locked and loaded.
Oh god, yeah. The two of them. You got Michael Biehn just being Michael Biehn serious and shit. Like it just it's such a good crew. I love it. And then I don't know, the other staple that runs through the Alien movies is the androids, right? And you have Bishop in this one, who Bishop's Bishop, and he was there for I think the next 2 or 3 outings of this particular thing, and then he, it turns out he's a recreation. There's a whole lot of shit that goes on with Bishop, but I don't know.
Androids kind of go bad.
What's that?
Don't they kind of go bad? Or because there's something in Prometheus where they had an android fight or whatever, and the wrong android got back on, and
the androids are always they're always a weird spot in these movies, like especially the Bishop versions, right? Like, so like the Lance Henriksen, because he's good and then he's not, and then he's based on like he's like a recreation, kind of like an android version of like the Tiny Corporation head of something at some point, like is one of the storylines, and so he has like some of the same thought processes. So they're always a little on the morally gray aspects. I think I'm struggling to remember it, which I should. I'm embarrassed that I can't remember his name. Ian Holm, who plays the one in the original Ash. He was good. As good as an android can be. But I think that's the other part, is like the androids have always represented like the neutral party in these films to a certain degree, in most cases, with the exception of like Prometheus, where Michael Fassbender, his has always been an asshole. Like he was always sent to figure out the alien, or the cradle of creation type shit, right? But like when it comes to Bishop and Ash and like how those, and then they're a little different in that they come back, they do weird things. So they always kind of are that morally gray piece. Like they understand the need to destroy the alien, but they also have this directive that they're supposed to like help save it and find a way to, bring some of it home or figure it out. So it's wonky, but it gets really dumb after this one. Like Lance Henriksen's Lance Henriksen. So anytime he's kind of like Stephen Lang back in the 80s, right? Like, so
right,
he was the guy that James Cameron's like, I need to have him in these movies because he's awesome and that voice. But like, I don't know. He also, I think, serves to, and they also throughout the series serve to like muddy the waters a lot too, because you're always like, like I think this movie could have done fine without Bishop. Like,
right.
I mean, fine it at, but all it did was, and I think other than Sigourney Weaver, this was the connective tissue, was having Sigourney Weaver and another android in that, because Ash played such a big part with Sigourney Weaver in the first one. And so they were like, well, we'll bring in, and you know, you have a freaking legend like Ian Holm playing one, you got to have a legend like Lance Henriksen playing another. So, but I don't think he adds much outside of, oh, there's another android. Is he going to be a good guy or bad guy or somewhere in the middle? We don't know. So, yeah.
Makes sense. All right, I got one more gripe.
Okay.
And it's simply because it's a trope that I don't understand, or I understand its use, but it gets overused.
Sure.
And it's the idea that, you know, after they get back to the main base or whatever, and they're taking stock of what they have, and they're like, we got 3 guns and there's 50 rounds each. They then presume to fire these motherfuckers 10,000 times.
Yeah.
And the problem I have with this in this specific scenario is you do not need it.
Yeah.
You've just seen the hive, the nest. There's way more of these aliens than these Marines have ammo for.
Yeah.
I don't need this speech about how we got nothing.
Yeah.
And then just go trigger happy. And there's still some left over for Ripley to go and take on the Queen.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I get why it's there, but in this situation, I don't need it. All I need to say is something on the lines of, there's a lot more than we thought there were. There you go. Like,
yeah,
that's enough to understand that we don't have the hardware to win, right? We have to run away because we don't have enough to win. But essentially, it's like we got 200 rounds in plasma rifles, and then we have a firefight for 30 minutes.
Where they're not careful.
They're not careful. Oh, they're spraying everything.
Yeah. And the guns like that, you know, they act like you don't go through rounds like in seconds. You know what I mean? Like you're going through hundreds of 200 rounds in like a couple of trigger pulls in a gun like that.
Yeah. So when that comes up, I'm just sitting there going, I'm doing the Javier thing. I was like, 1, 2, 3, 7, 29. And then apparently there was one gun they left off to the side, and that was Ripley's gun for the end. And so
yeah, you need something.
I was just cracking up because I was like, it's unnecessary after they've gotten their asses kicked.
Yeah.
Like if it's beforehand and you want to take stock of everything, all about it. But afterwards, I don't need it. These guys are clearly outmatched for what they brought. There's not enough of them. They don't have enough weapons. They don't have enough ammo. And they lost half their crew. I don't need any kind of extra handicap thrown in. That is then just going to be no point to it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and for them to call it out so heavy, like it's a major plot point, quote unquote, if you will. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah, conserve your ammo, and then it's just like, say hello to my little friend, spraying the vents and everything.
Yeah. Well, and I'm with you. Like at some point, and I guess they do. I don't know. Like at some point, like this last stand thing, just blow the fucking place up. Like, you know, you're gonna. And I guess if I'm the Marines, if I'm whatever, there's a point where I go, listen, we're gonna get fucked either way. Like, so at this point, I'm gonna save all of us, and maybe all of us will go to jail, and maybe one of us will go to, you know what I mean? Like, we'll get court-martialed, whatever it is. But I think I'd rather die to a firing squad than being eaten by an alien. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm blowing this bitch up. Like, and we have the means to do so very easily. So I think to kind of go along with that, like there's a lot of like serious plot pushing in this movie that you're like, that doesn't make a ton of sense. But you so easily forgive it because of the action and the funny and the, you know, the well played, like the seriously just entertainment that comes from this movie. To James Cameron's credit, like it is a wildly entertaining movie. And so a lot of people forgive like those kind of, I know I do, like the silly, like, what the fuck are we doing here? Like, it's like that guy I show you on TikTok. It's like,
yeah.
Like, welcome to another episode of what the fuck are you still doing there? Like, it's just like, this is like the ultimate episode of that. You walk in, you see that shit, and you're like,
no,
nah. Peace. And if nothing else, I'm blowing myself. You know what I mean? Like, we'll blow it up, and then I don't know what happened. Everybody died.
Yeah. Nuke malfunction.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody pushed a button. It just dropped itself.
Yeah, it just fell. Launched. I don't know what the hell. Yeah. Common sense goes out the window because we have orders. Then fuck that.
No.
That's why I could never be a Marine. I'd question too many orders. I have another gripe, and it's a typical James Cameron gripe, and I bet you can see where you head. I bet you know exactly where I'm going with this.
Ooh.
It's too fucking long.
Yeah.
I love it. And it's not even like a full James Cameron length, but it's over 2 hours long. And for a movie like this, it's unnecessary. And there's a lot of pieces. As much as I love the dialogue and I love like the conversations, there is some slow moving dialogue, like the whole. And I think this is an epitome. Again, I keep saying it. This is an epitomized version of what we've talked about quite a few times in this podcast, is overdoing something. Like we just talked about, we're willing to forgive a lot in this movie because of the entertainment value and how well it looked. And in 1986, this movie looked amazing, from like the way that the scenes were set up and the way that the film, like he had experience in making shit look cool when it was hard to make shit look cool. And he did it with this movie impressively. It's gritty. It's dark. They use that dark lighting to be able to hide a lot of things, like that. I'm sure if you lit that studio room up, that set piece up, it probably looked like fucking shit, cardboard and styrofoam with paint all over it. But in the dark, with flashlights and fast movements, it looks amazing and scary and horrifying. We forgive a lot because of everything that you did right. Stop trying to make this some sort of philosophical, deep fucking movie with all of the closed door conversations and the deep. All the philosophy I need is when Newt says, "Mom always told me there were no monsters, but there are." And Sigourney Weaver's amazing line, "Yes, there are, aren't there?" Why do you guys say that? Because most of the time it's true. And that to me is as philosophical as this movie needs to get. But we start getting into all the different fucking, what's the right and wrongs of keeping an alien and trying to use an alien and all. I don't need all that. It's too much. All I need to know is they're trying to keep them and we're trying to kill them. And you've been set up. Like, fuck it. That's all I need. And this movie works. And it could have been an hour and 45 minutes and just as good, if not better, in my opinion. But it's a James Cameron thing. Like we talked about 2 times already this month. The guy's got to put fucking everything under the sun in it, or I feel like he feels like he can't walk away from it. And that to me is the biggest issue that he's always had, because every one of his movies, spoiler alert, I'm going to talk about this again for next week's movie, they're too fucking long. They're just bloated. And this one is one of the shorter ones of his fucking filmography, and it is too bloated.
Yeah, and I guess for me it was more of a pacing thing.
That's fair.
Because at like minute 25, we've already, found Ripley, gone to the colony, figured out that the colony's been taken by the aliens and we're not getting them back, escaped, lost half the Marines, and then Newt gives this line where it's like, it's getting dark and that's when they come. And then the movie goes on for 2 more hours.
Yeah.
So you hit like everything's rapid quick. And then you have just elongated the rest of it.
Yeah.
And so you're kind of, when you're watching it, or when I was watching it, I was like, cool, pace, let's go, boom, 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 we're gonna hit everything. And I think hour and a half, based on your pacing that you said at the beginning, you can still cover everything.
Yeah.
But then we get a 10-minute sequence in the medical bay with the face huggers and Ripley and Newt, and then we have a 30-minute fight scene going through the air vents. So we have an additional 15 minutes of Ripley going after Newt and the Queen. And we have all these extra things that take more time than it took to get to our, first act and through the first act. So like the first act's 25 minutes long. The second act feels like 25 minutes long. And the third act feels like an hour and a half.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's like that's where you start losing me, because then I'm looking at like, dude, this movie should have been done. Like how much? There's 40 minutes left.
Yeah.
Because of that, it's that point. Like the movies should already be completed based on the pacing that you set going into it, and instead it just keeps on going and going, and then the pacing slows down, which is never a good thing.
No.
To finish, then you get that bloated, stuff going on. I was sitting there going, I could have this movie done in 75 minutes.
Yep.
And still tell the same exact story.
Oh yeah. It's typical James Cameron. I think the only movie I think of that when I think of James Cameron that wasn't over bloated in some way, shape, or form or drag on was the original Terminator. Like, because that movie just didn't have filler. It was just fuck off from start to finish. But from there on, like even Terminator 2, which we did an episode, and we talked about this, like it could have been shorter, you know what I mean? And but this movie does suffer from James Cameronisms of the bloat and the too much. And it's a good call out. The pacing is wild. You're like, someone slammed the gas from moment one, and then all of a sudden we slam on the brakes and we let that bitch idle through the rest of it. Yeah. And it does have some weird sequencing issues too in my head. Like some things take place, and I don't know. Maybe it's because the pacing slows down so bad that it feels that way. But it's just too fucking long. It's too long. It's 30 minutes too long.
Yeah.
At least. So, but Bill Paxton. God, I miss Bill Paxton. Fucking, I love him. And I love that character. Should we rate it?
Let's do it.
All right, my go. Aliens. Look, this movie, okay, the original scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. One of the first horror films, suspense films that got me hooked on horror was Alien. This one, to me, was like, this is amazing, because we got to see what we didn't get to see in the first one, effectively. And it was awesome, and it's amazing. So there's a lot of nostalgia for me. But I am going to give it a 4 instead of a 5. Like, I want to give it a 5 because I love it so much. But that would be the nostalgia speaking. It is entertaining. It is fun. And when they get it right in this movie, goddamn, they get it really right. It's funny. It's action-packed. It has tension. It has some interesting storylines woven through, even with some of the ones that you're like, I didn't need that. There are some really dumbass decisions that are made throughout this movie, but I can't say that those aren't true to human nature sometimes too. And as much as I want to say, why would we keep trying to keep this? Because humans are fucking stupid, and we want to have cool shit. We want to say, look, I got an alien that I can control. So we're dumb, but it is too long. It's bloated. It's too much. And so for that reason alone, I give it a 4. But I would watch this movie anytime. Like, it has a lot of things that I love. There are parts that I probably skip past. A lot of the slow pacing shit. Like, the face hugger scene in the fucking Latin, I'm out. That part, give me 5 minutes and I'm done. Right. And that's all I needed. But outside of that, like, I just really enjoy this movie. It's a fun action movie. It was still when James Cameron was young and not so full of himself that he just makes whatever he wants to make. And he'll take the back half of his life and make a series of 5 movies that nobody like me wants anyway. But yeah, so there it is. But I love this movie. 4 for me, and I'll watch it anytime.
All right. I'm going to come in a little bit lower. I'm going to do 3.5. And the reason for the 3.5 is that it's pretty much as advertised for me, right? It's an 80s action flick.
Yep.
And it does everything an 80s action flick does. And it doesn't necessarily, I mean, it's part of a broader story, but it doesn't act like it always. Like you said, the only tie to the original is Sigourney Weaver and an android. And the fact that it's the same alien, right? The same process. And so you have almost a standalone movie, which is just bigger and better than the source material in terms of 80s action, which is very 80s filmmaking. Just, we're going to make it bigger, we're going to make it better, more explosions, go on. And so it's great. It's a great watch. It's an entertaining watch. It's an enjoyable watch. It is bloated, but it still promises enough explosions and things of that nature that if you go into this watching it, it's purely of its time, right? It holds up extremely well because they were using practical effects. They were actually building set pieces out of cardboard styrofoam, like you said, but they're still building it out and making it, you're in there, right? As soon as they're going through the tunnels, I'm in the tunnel with them. Like, they do a great job bringing you in. And so for that reason, it's enjoyable. But it's still just, at the end of the day, it's 80s action flick, slap it on there, and I love it. I'll give it 3.5. I don't think I'll watch it again just because I don't have the same nostalgia tying me to the Alien franchise, because it terrifies me. So there's that. But this is one that I could sit down and watch again. It's just, if I'm going to watch something bloated, there's plenty of other stuff out there that I'll watch.
Yeah.
But it is a good movie. I'll give it 3.5.
Explosions. Love it. There it is. I love it. This is finally. I didn't have a fucking rage fucking blackout. It's the first time in like 7
2
episodes. Yeah, 8 episodes at least. Jesus. Yeah, there we go. That's fun. Alec, tell everybody where they can find us when we're not running away from aliens.
Happy to. Best place to find us is on YouTube, where you can see our dead, lifeless faces as we're both feeling a bit under the weather. It's great. You can just see the first 7 weeks of the year. You can see JJ's rage behind his eyes. Now it's just dead. Just nothing there. It's great. At What's Our Verdict Reviews on YouTube. Outside of YouTube, best place to find us, like JJ was saying, is on Patreon at What's Our Verdict Reviews. There, you guys can get involved in the content creation of the podcast, which includes votes. Absolutely free. Just join the Patreon. You can vote on topics. We added some real stakes to our, choices. So if someone loses a month, there's now consequences other than bragging rights. It's a list of movies that the person who lost does not want to watch. And we each picked each other's list, so we were able to torture each other with that. We know each other very well. Those are available for purchase if you wanted to, throw a little bit of extra spice into everything. We'll do a bonus episode on that movie that you picked. But to vote is completely free. And now that the votes matter, please get on there and vote. 100%. The first 8 weeks or 6 weeks of this year have been fantastic because JJ has not stopped yelling. So get on there, vote. It makes the best content when you do. Special thanks to our current patrons, Rich and CB. You guys are amazing. Thank you for everything that you do. And thank you for putting in a few topics that were designed specifically, I'm pretty sure, to make sure JJ had a terrible time. Special thanks to you guys. And with that, I'll kick it back to the Colossus of Clout, the King of Crash, a JJ.
That's right. I will say Charles kind of fucked you, though. He left a comment on one of our recent extra behind the scenes videos with a link to he says, I got the perfect horror movie for you. And I watched it. I watched like the trailer. Oh, it's going on your full on fuck off.
No, Charles.
Like,
no.
It is. Oh,
No.
I watched the trailer and went, I don't even know if I want to watch this movie.
No.
It's let me double check to make sure. Then the movie name is called Dolly.
Oh no.
Dolly. So there you go.
Dolly Parton.
Oh no, it's not. It's like those creepy ass fucking.
Oh no!
Yeah, it's a big ass person with a fucking doll costume on, and those creepy ass blinky. Yep. So that one's now on your get fucked list. It's not on the just the tip because that would be mean, but it is on the double list. So if we ever get to lose a couple 3 months in a row, that one's gonna be up for grabs.
I just can't lose ever again. That's
you better pick some good shit, motherfucker. Anyway, so yeah, here's the stakes, ladies and germs. There it is. So go vote. And with that, as always, we appreciate you tuning in. We'll catch you on the next one.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Cinemagic out.
Whoa!